Hey gang, Ronin here. Welcome on back to the Retrocade. It's Sunday. That means it's time for another Suckerpunch Sunday where we wind the clock back to the golden age of gaming, 1984 to 2010, play a classic fighting or fighting platform-based game. If you've been enjoying the content on this channel, as always, best way you can show it is to hit that like button, subscribe if you're new, ring the bell to be notified of the latest content. Also, don't forget about Sports Saturday, where we play a sports game from the 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th generation. Yesterday, we went back and played Blades of Steel from the original Nintendo Entertainment System from 1987, and it started off well, definitely did not end well. Also, don't forget to follow us on Twitter at our Retrocade. Help spread the word about us if you can, so we can hit our goal of 100 subscribers as soon as possible. That way we can make this channel bigger and better. And if there's a game you'd like to see us feature from the Nintendo Entertainment System, the Super Nintendo, the Sega Master System, Sega Genesis, or MegaDrive, SNK Neo-Geo, Nintendo 64, PlayStation 1, or PlayStation 2, leave it in the comments below, or drop me a tweet, and it can be any game you want. Now, for this Suckerpunch Sunday, I figured we were going to go back to 1991 and play a game that I first discovered in the arcades, and then when it came out on consoles, the 16-bit consoles of the 4th generation, I was hoping it would be a bit better, but actually turned out to be anything but. We're going to play Pit Fighter. Pit Fighter came out at a time when everybody was trying to capitalize on the fighting game explosion that took place, thanks, of course, to, as I pause here for a second, Street Fighter II and Mortal Kombat. As I said, this game came out in arcades in 1990, came out on consoles in 1991. It was released by Atari in the arcades, was ported by Tengen, which was an Atari subsidiary, but was released on the Super Nintendo, the Sega Genesis, and we're playing the Genesis version today, the Game Boy, the Lynx, which is the old Atari handheld system, the Sega Master System. It was a computer game that came out on DOS. It also came out on the Atari ST and the old Commodore 64. So it was a widely spread out game, but also, I will be the first to admit, it's not a good one. It's not a complicated game to play. You have two functions. You have punch and kick, and then you have a jump button. In theory, if you hit all three buttons at the same time, you do a special move, but trying to do it with a Genesis controller with 3 buttons is a real pain in the butt. You have your life bar at the top with your 3 hearts, which is essentially your life gauge. When that runs out, it's game over for you. Although, unlike the Super Nintendo version, which I thought about playing, the Genesis game offers you continues from where you died, as opposed to the Super NES version where once you get beat, that's it. Then you have your enemy, who's the Executioner in this first fight. He's got his life bar below you. You have a clock that gauges how long it takes you to knock your guy out. The record is if you can beat him under that time, you get an added cash bonus on top of whatever it is your usual winnings are. So we'll see how far we can go in the next 30 minutes or so. This isn't a long game like most 16-bit games or like most 8-bit games. You can beat it in under an hour if you really want to play it. But again, the problem I have with this game is when I played it in the arcades back in the day, and you have to remember, digitized graphics, this was one of the first games that had any sort of digitized graphics where they actually took the people who, powerbomb, that was healthy, where they took the actors and who were taking part in this game, and if you remember, the original Mortal Kombat was the most famous one for this, and you actually get to see them in action as they're playing. The arcade version of this was actually a lot better, even though that's not saying much. I mean, it's a pretty rudimentary game, as you can already see. There's not a lot of frills to it. You can't block, by the way. You cannot really get out of the way of your opponent. You just gotta hope you can be able to avoid their shots as I knock him out in 58 seconds and get my first record KO time. But this game, and you get your fight purse, and then KO bonus, and then the brutality bonus is if you knock him out in a particularly aggressive fashion, although it's not like the fatalities that you would know from Mortal Kombat. And as the levels go up, you get more stuff. You have these big boxes that you can pick up and drop on a guy's head, and you have weapons that you can pick up, like I picked up a knife and I can stab him with it, which I'm doing here, and you get that little red spray of blood. But I mean, everybody was trying their damnedest to be able to keep pace with what Capcom had done with Street Fighter 2, and then with what Midway did with Mortal Kombat. And Atari, who had always made their living trying to... There was never an idea that they could not capitalize on if they had reason to. Especially when it came to their Tengen platforms, as I knock him out again. You know, if you know your history of video games at all, Atari got sued by Nintendo for having a version of Tetris on the NES that they did through Tengen. And now, if you can find a copy of it, it's actually one of the more expensive versions of the game you can find. Now, all I have to do is I have to knock my doppelganger down 3 times to win it. But it's not quite that simple. I will say that the controls on this version are actually, the Genesis version, are a lot easier to handle than with the Super Nintendo version as well. But that didn't stop me from winning the grudge match. Now I get a little extra bonus. This is essentially your bonus level in the game. The arcade version of this, which you can still find on MAME in other arcade emulators, and this is your big bad guy. They never really named him. He's just the masked warrior, which shows how little there was of any real interest in having this game have any real originality to it. And you can hit your opponent when they're down. Now I gotta be careful because she's got the shank. But the spatial awareness in this game is not good either. And what I mean by that is you can find yourself in a situation where you get hit and you will land on top of a box or something that your opponent will then pick up as I got taken out, and I will keep Ty. Ty was always my favorite fighter. You also have Buzz, who's a big burly wrestler type, and then you have a guy named Kano, who's more of a straightforward ninjutsu type guy, whereas Ty is a traditional kickboxer. And you also have to keep in mind, this was 3-4 years before UFC made its debut. And I still knock her out in a minute 4. I do find myself going back and playing this every once in a while, just purely out of nostalgia, but there are so many better fighting games that you can play. Now, the question being, why would I want to highlight this on a Suckerpunch Sunday? Well, like I said, this is all about... Here, you got your stick, I got my stick. We will hit each other with sticks. Oh, except he's beating me down with his stick. There we go. Oh, except my stick broke. But as I said, the whole idea behind doing Suckerpunch Sundays was to highlight fighting and fighting platform-based games. I never said I was going to do just good ones. And because the genre has been around now for the better part of 35 years, although the straight-up one-on-one fighting game has been around for about 30. Although even if you go back to the originator, which was not Street Fighter 2, by the way, you have to go all the way back to an old Data East game called Karate Champ to really get the first true fighting game, one-on-one fighter. Ooh. There we go. For a second it was looking sketchy, but I took him down. But by 1990, there was such a rush to jump in and get games out for kids to play in the fighting game genre that you had stuff like this. Now what stinks is you can't do like low kicks or anything else. You can only kick in one direction, you can only kick in one point. Because this game is so rudimentary that they never really even considered putting anything else into it. Now, I also do not know how many continues you get in this game. Obviously, in the arcade version, you got as many continues as you had quarters, as he just put his head down and gored me. Ow. And he gored me again. No, I'll stick with Ty. Oh, he got the knife. That's not good. And if you get too close to the crowd, the further along you go, will beat you up a bit. Ooh, he launched me halfway. Ooh, man, he took a ton of my life out with that shot. Okay, I think I have no more continues after this. I think that was what the hearts were at the top. And I still knocked him out in record time, 1:21, even though I'm down on the ground. Totally studly. Now we're fighting a guy named Heavy Metal. Now, in various fights, you also will come across something called, you'll see a little ball with a P on it that will drop out. And that is called, obviously, the power pellet. And if you do your attacks, you get it, your attacks become stronger, you can take less, or you can take more damage and lose less life. Yeah, I only knocked him out in 49 seconds. Now, I don't think you can buy yourself any more continues in this game either. And if you lose the grudge match, this is not a this does not end the game for you. It's not a game over. You just don't get the bonus. Ooh, I got knocked down 3 times in a row. You have 15 matches overall to get through if you want to win the game. That's what I wanted right there. Now you can see it can do a lot more damage with each shot. and I'm a lot faster. So I take around like 45 seconds. I'm already at $250,000. Pushing 300,000. Now I'm going to get in a stick fight with Mad Miles, and I don't think this is going to end well. There we go. Yeah, because he can swing that thing and always hit me, and I can't, for whatever reason, seem to hit him. See if I can get him here. Nope, that's it. I think that's game over. That is game over. Okay. So you get 3 continues. And he just spits on you. And that was at level 3. Ah, so you can set the levels to however much you want. Game mode normal, practice. So if I want to make it super difficult, you can go to 8. But kind of in the middle is 3. Alright, well, tell you what. Because I want to get to the end of this game. And I don't know the next time I'm going to play it, so. And that's another thing about how these games worked back in the day, was if you knew how to do it, you could manipulate it, so in much the same way you can now. To make it easier to beat. Not all arcade games were like this, though. Let's see if I can beat it in the next 12, 13 minutes. Well, I got a second. I will remind you that if you've been watching our Metal Gear playthrough that I did over the last couple of weeks, I did wrap that up on Monday. I do apologize for not having other new content that came up before yesterday and why Sports Saturday was so late yesterday. As I said at the time, everything that could have gone bad this week as far as my computer went bad. Conversely, though, I did get some very good news in that I am back in the ranks of the employed. I'm working remotely as a publication designer and a copy editor for the Lewiston Sun Journal based out of Maine, which is where I lived until the COVID pandemic changed all that. But I lived up in the northern part of the state, up in Bangor. Now I'm going to be working out of Lewiston, which is in the south part of the state, or what they call the mid-coast. It's closer to Portland, really, but I'm looking forward to getting back to work after having been away for 9 months, thanks to COVID and a lot of other things. And because I can do this all remotely now, I don't have to relocate from where I am currently in Ohio back over. Not that I would, if I could, I would love to. But right now, it's just not a feasible option. So, on the flip side, that allows me to save a little bit of money, or a little bit more money, because I don't have to look for getting up things like a security deposit and renting a van and all that stuff. So, I'm just fine with that. What that means for the channel, though, is because right now my schedule, which I'm still determining because my first day of training is tomorrow and my orientation is tomorrow. But I'll be working nights, so it is more of a question of figuring out, okay, what will that mean for when I can record and get new episodes put together and uploaded. and not have that conflict with my work schedule. So for the time being, what I'll probably do is I'm going to likely take this first week off, just because I don't want to have the distractions while I'm trying to get acclimated to my new job. Obviously, I want to send a good message to the people I'm going to be working with and working for. And I don't want to have to deal with the anxiety of doing that and putting together content starting tomorrow and then again on Wednesday. So for those of you who've been following along with me on this, and I do genuinely appreciate your doing so, just bear with me a little bit. And then once I figure out what my new schedule will be and how I can go back to incorporating putting these videos together and getting stuff uploaded, then I will obviously send that along and we'll get stuff up as soon as we can. I'm also glad that my computer is actually deciding to behave itself, because that was the other issue I had over the weekend. Was my computer decided it was just going to go up and totally crap the bed. And it had, for whatever reason, it had something to do with my ability to watch video. I know I have a serious problem with my computer when I consistently get a blue screen of doom. Ow. So I got hit with a oil drum upside the noggin. That wasn't very sporting of you. Ow! But I kept getting a message saying I was dealing with what was called a DPC watchdog violation, which is, in my research trying to figure out why that was happening, came down to one of three things. My solid-state hard drive that I bought specifically for this computer when I built it was already going bad after only a couple of years, which was possible. Or I had a driver that was going bad, or my video card was acting up. And it took me the better part of 2 days to figure that out. It took two reloads of Windows. And then I had to reload and then update. Ooh, this isn't good. Oh, and I did not make it through the bonus. I had to reload and then update my Adobe platform so I could start producing videos again. So, yeah. Interesting couple of days for me. And not a great many fun ones on top of that. So as you can see, at level 1, this game is considerably easier, although Chainman here is still kicking my butt. And if you hit the jump and the kick button at the same time, do this jump kick. But when he puts his head down and does that gore move, that's just... because he's that much bigger than you. Ow! Man, he is really stomping me here. And again, because you can't dodge... Wow, I'm already out. Alright, well, we'll switch fighters here. Show you what Buzz can do. And Buzz, who has all the subtlety of a sledgehammer, manages to take him down. Alright, so this is where we were the first time through. It is funny, though, looking at games like this and seeing how much... One, how far fighting games have evolved in 30 years, which is a great thing. If you like the genre like I do, and I would suspect like most people do, because that's half the reason why most people play console games nowadays. You know, being able to play updated versions of Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat and stuff like that is... That's a lot of fun. Now I think we got Mad Miles again. I think when he does that flex thing, he's the best. I've already been knocked down once. He's been knocked down. I've been knocked down twice. And knocked down 3 times. That's it. Loser. But all Buzz is brute force. I think she said come on was when she did that. Headbutt. Oh, she took me down. Alright, we'll go back to Ty. Alright, I gotta go look at that pill. In the arcade version of this, the pill came out a lot more often. And unlike what you see here, if this was like, for example, a Neo-Geo game and they had the digitized graphics on it, it would look a lot better. It'd be a lot more one-to-one. But that effect of him getting the power pellet was always one where you moved a little bit quicker, and it's kind of hard to explain how they did it, but you. There we go. As he spits on me. Okay, fine. I'll swing back and hit you. But surprising against a guy like this that weapons don't do more damage. Oh, as I get shoved in and then get cracked. Let's see here. I'm almost got him. There we go. Took him down to minute 13. So now we'll see who we have after this. And now I think we get to the point where you have at least 2 opponents on the board. But not before we have one more grudge match. As far as I know, like I said, you can't buy more continues. We took him down there, so we'll see who we got after this. With 150 grand. With a big pile of quiche. And we fight Southside Jim again. Except now we can pick up a motorcycle and throw it at each other, because why not? And I think Jimmy's got us on this one. Yep, that is it. And we have no more continues, so that is all she wrote. So I'll pop in my initials and call it good. But that, guys, is Pit Fighter from 1990-1991, made by Atari for the arcades and then ported to multiple systems, including the Super Nintendo and the Sega Genesis. If you've enjoyed this game, and I would imagine this would probably be the only way you could, if you wanted to play it, you're more than welcome to. You know, I'm playing this on Fusion 3.64, but if you have a Genesis and you're able to get games for it, then, you know, you might want to give it a try. But I would say, really, if you're looking to be fully nostalgic about it and revisit the days of yore when you had games like this that were available, then that might be about it. Otherwise, you're better spent utilizing your time playing games like Street Fighter and better fighting games or fighting platform games. Like I said, I play this purely because it's one that I remember as a kid, and usually by the time I'm done, I'm pretty done playing it for at least another couple of years. So, but if you've enjoyed the game, as always, best way you can show is hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new, ring the bell to be notified of the latest content. Don't forget about Sports Saturday coming up next weekend, where we play a sports game for the 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th generation. You can also follow us on Twitter at our Retrocade. Help spread the word so we can hit our goal of 100 subscribers as soon as we can and unlock YouTube's customization algorithm and make this channel bigger and better. And if there's a game you'd like to see us feature from the Nintendo Entertainment System, the Super Nintendo, the Sega Master System, Sega Genesis, or Mega Drive, SNK, Neo-Geo, Nintendo 64, PlayStation 1, or PlayStation 2, leave it in the comments below or drop me a tweet. Can be any game you want. As always, my name is Ronin. Been great to spend this Sunday with you. Be safe, be well, and I'll talk to you again soon as we get our next bit of gaming history up on the channel. Bye.